Welcome back to another video on the channel. And today going to be doing a Championship Game Week 8 reaction. As you can see, yeah, it's going to be mental. Very excited. Another loss for the Coventry boys. Sorry I didn't do a review, but I will for West Brom. And from now on, I'll try to back to the rhythm. But yeah, should we start off with the first game, which is West Brom versus Burnley, and it ended a 1-1 draw. And it's the spirit of West Brom fighting late, and no other than Brandon Thomas Asante, their new signing, has scored in the 98th minute. His first game, he came off the bench and he scores to win the game. Huge. Burnley, in the first half, I think I did watch the game, and in the first half, I saw West Brom dominate. They had so many chances. Jed Wallace missed a few. I remember a brilliant save towards the end of the first half. And Burnley just looked poor. I think Matson gave away the ball on one occasion. Brilliant defending from Burnley in the end to get it clear. And then a few other chances. I think there's a free header for O'Shea who probably could have done better. But at the end of the day, if you don't take your chances, this could happen. And it's just one long ball from, I think, the keepers. One long ball. It's a fantastic touch from what's his name? It's brilliant. It's Teller. Yeah, Nathan Teller. An absolutely fantastic. That's a Premier League touch. I had a commentator say a Premier League touch, and it was a Premier League touch. Took around the keeper. The pen was a bit, I don't know if it's controversial or debatable if it was a pen or not, but there was definite contact from I think it was Button. There was definitely contact from Button on Teller's foot, and then Teller went down. It was a pen. In the end, it was a pen. Joe Rodriguez, brilliant. They took it away emphatically. Fantastic pen into the bottom corner. And that was 1-0 Burnley. And I think West Brom was hard done by then. I don't think they should have been 1-0 down. But if you don't take your chances, you don't get the result. And those sort of things could happen. And then West Brom had a few other chances. Second half comes in. And this Burnley missed City. It was a poor pass back from West Brom and someone hit the post. And then in the 98th minute, West Brom, brilliant goal from Asante. The possession, 23 shots to Burnley's 11, 8 shots on target to 4. West Brom more possession, more passes, more pass accuracy, more fouls, less yellows though, same offside. And it was a recurring thing. West Brom had so many corners. But the corners just weren't good. They were pretty shocking corners, and yeah, it's not good to see for West Brom. There are so many corners, but nothing came from it. So yeah, looking at the table, Burnley sit 5th on 13 points. 3 games played. 8 games played. 3 wins, 4 draws, and a loss. They only lost 1 all season, which is good. West Brom sit in 16th, 1 win, 6 draws, 1 loss. West Brom, I think, are becoming the draw specialists. They're ahead of Preston in draws. So West Brom looking to draw specialists. In the next fixture, West Brom have us, Coventry City, and Burnley have Norwich City. So very interesting. Funny enough, Norwich and Coventry played. We'll get into that. But yeah, it was. Yeah, on the fair share of things, I think West Brom at least deserved the point. I think they got very hard done by. They could have won if they took their chances. Moving on to the next game, which is Norwich City versus Coventry. 3-0 Norwich. We've lost again. I think what's that? We played 5, haven't we? Yeah, 4 losses in 5. And yeah, 4 losses on the bounce isn't brilliant, and not. I think you should be. Not. I don't think you should be, but I think we do have enough to come out of this whole slumber. I think we do have, the quality. We've kept our players in Gyökeres, O'Hare, and Hamer. We've kept those 3, so we can really now without that in our mind about those three could be going, I think we can really focus on the league now and just go. We've got those three key players. We can move on now. Going to Norwich away was never easy. I think I predicted us to lose because I'm not that sort of fan who just predicts us to win every single game. But honestly, I predicted us to lose, and I had no hopes going into this game. I thought we could have maybe got a point out of it, possibly if we defend well and then hit them on the counter, possibly. But we were 2-0 down at half time in the end, and Timo Pukki, really nice finish. And we did score. The linesman did the latest flag we will ever see. Even the live score that we scored, it was that late. It was like we were celebrating, and then you just put your flag up. You can't do that. No, that's a joke. That's biasy right there. And it probably was offside. I think it was offside. But we're celebrating. You can't just randomly put your flag out just because we scored. If it was offside, then fair enough. But he did it so late. So late. Honestly, why did you even put your flag up? It was a fancy finish. I don't even think it was offside. Live score said we were 1-1. Score correction to 1-0 because the linesman put their flag up at least a minute or two late. And I think that should be addressed. I think he should be fined some 20,000. But still, honestly, it's a joke. You can't put your flag up a minute or two late. If it was offside, you have to put your flag up then. You can't just put your flag up 2 minutes late. We were mid-celebration, and all the fans were celebrating, the Norwich fans weren't celebrating. Norwich fans were angry. I don't think any players really called for offside. He just randomly put his flag up for offside. I don't even think he was offside. It's a joke. And then, of course, they go and score in the 45th minute +1, maybe 2-0, and then Dow with an 81st minute goal. And it was just sloppy defending. It was very sloppy defending from us. And yeah, it's something to be addressed, our defending, because have not looked brilliant. But in the stats wise, I'm going to see probably why Norwich probably did deserve all 3 points. 14 shots to our 6, 7 on target to our 1, 61% possession to our 39, over 200 more passes, way more pass accuracy. Did they have more fouls and yellow cards? We had more offsides and they had more corners. So, on the fair share, I think Norwich deserved. I think, and they probably did deserve all 3 points. And they're Premier League. They're not in Premier League. I don't know. They go up and then go down. They're such a brilliant side in Championship and terrible side in the Prem. It's annoying. So that puts Norwich in second place. 5 wins, 1 draw, 2 losses all season. 16 points, 1 off Sheffield United. And that puts us down into 24th. Oh no, we're 7 points off safety. This is looking rough. We have to beat West Brom. Simple as that. We have to beat West Brom. We get out of relegation. We have 3 games in hand though. We could go to 10 points. We could go around 15 with our 3 points in hand, 3 games in hand. So nothing to really worry about. Our next game is West Brom, and Norwich's next game is Burnley. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Moving on to the next game, which is Millwall 2, Cardiff City 0. Charlie Cresswell and Benik Afobe 2 goals, and I think Millwall is a tough team. Cardiff are. It's a tough team, and I think Millwall dealt with it well with a huge win, a very good win as well. So Millwall, they do look decent. Millwall, they're a strong side. They know what they're doing, and they lost a few games before this as well, so it's a good way to come back. Good goals from both players, and Millwall, I think Millwall could be back here. 16 shots to Cardiff's 12, 7 on target to Cardiff's 2, 44% possession to Cardiff's 56. Cardiff way more passes, more pass accuracy, more fouls, same amount of yellows, more offsides and more corners. So Cardiff, it was it's just the clinical side from Cardiff's point of view. 12 shots and only 2 on target. It's not good for Cardiff. They had more possession, they didn't do anything with it. More passes, of course, more pass accuracy, but they just didn't find a way to crack down this Millwall side. Millwall's defence was very solid. It was very strong, and yeah, should we get to the table? Millwall sit 14th with 10 points, so not a bad start to the season for Millwall. 3 wins, 1 draw, and 4 losses. And Cardiff, relegation zone, 8 points, 2 wins, 2 draws, and 4 losses. Not looking good for Cardiff in the relegation, of course, but it's going to be a tough season for Cardiff. We're always going to know. We already knew that. Cardiff have Hull City next, and Millwall have Sunderland, but definitely an interesting game. Millwall got all 3 points. Millwall just came back after 3 losses on the bounce. So that's a massive win as well. But yeah, it's massive. Moving on to Swansea City 1, QPR 0. Joel Pirro with the goal in the end to separate these two sides. Not a fascinating game, not an interesting game. I thought QPR going into this game, they just came back off a 3-2 win over Watford. I thought they looked decent, QPR, especially against Watford. Oh no. Oh yeah. Oh no. Okay, back up at 1-1 draw over Stoke. The game before that, it was 3-2. Oh no, it's QPR, wasn't it? Yeah, there's QPR. They just came back off a draw. No, where was it? Where were they? Oh my days! They just came back off a win over Hull. That's what I meant to say. A win over Hull City. So I did think QPR could have done it a little bit better here, but at the end of the day, it was not a great result for QPR. Swansea have not been their best. Joel Pirro, another goal to his name. Stats wise, 13 shots to QPR's 8, 4 on target to QPR's 3. QPR more possession, more passes, more pass accuracy, more fouls, way less yellows, less offsides and less corners. It's a very even game. But at the end of the day, Swansea took a chance, and that's what won them the game. I think QPR won't be too hard done by that result. They do sit 9th with 11 points, and Swansea sit 19th with 9. So I think QPR, they could be a little bit disheartened. If they had those 3 points, they would sit currently about 5th. So not worrying at all for QPR. Let's go move on to the next game, which is Huddersfield and Swansea have Birmingham. So that's a huge relegation battle, Swansea versus Birmingham. Moving on to Rotherham 1, Watford 1. Rotherham do get points against these, teams. So it's a great point for Rotherham's sake. Richard Wood in the 2nd minute, 1-0 over Watford, and then Bakuna Silva-Bio in the 33rd minute to equalise. Watford don't look all too bad. They do drop points when they really shouldn't. They dropped points. They beat Middlesbrough in their last game, then lost to QPR at home. They do just drop some random points. So it's not great for Watford. They need to try and just work out how to win games when they should win games. And they should be beating Rotherham. Now, Rotherham aren't having a bad season, to be fair to them. They're having a decent season. But still, Watford have got to find a way how to grind out 3-pointers to try and get this playoffs. And honestly, 9 shots to Watford's 12, 3 on target for Rotherham to Watford's 2. Way less possession to Rotherham. Watford dominated on possession, dominated on passes, way more pass accuracy, less fouls, less yellows, way less offsides, and a lot more corners. Honestly, I do think Rotherham on the Watford on the other hand could have got all 3 points. Just clinicalness again. They 2 shots on target and they took one for 12 shots and only 2 on target. It's difficult to get shots on target, but Watford sits 6th, Rotherham sits 13th. Watford have 3 wins, 4 draws, and a loss. Brom 2 wins, 4 draws, and a loss. So interesting. And Rotherham have Sheffield United next. That's a big game. Watford have Reading next, which is another big game, another tough one as well. Moving on to the next game, which is Preston 0, Birmingham City 1. Preston's conceded their first goal, and it took 8 games to do so. So Preston, and it's against Birmingham, so I don't think Preston will be all too pleased. And also they lost, so not going to be pleased about that. Birmingham, fair enough. Maxime Collin got the first goal Preston has conceded in 8. This is the 8th game they would have if they haven't conceded in 7 games before this, and he just scored the first goal. So Preston, they've been very like 0-0s, occasional 1-1 or 1-0, occasional 1-0s. So they finally lost 1-0. Finally conceded a goal. Funny enough, is against Birmingham when you could have conceded against Watford, Coventry, and all that, and you do it against Birmingham. Nothing against Birmingham; they're a decent side. That's a huge win for Birmingham. Preston had 10 shots to Birmingham's 8, 3 on target to 3 on target. Way more possession, way more passes, more pass accuracy, more fouls, less yellows, more offsides, and less corners. So it's a very even game. Preston had a little bit way more of the ball though, but I think Birmingham defended well to get all 3 points. But yeah, it's a huge game, and Birmingham, Preston sit 10th on 11 points. Birmingham sit 21st on 8 points. 2 wins, 2 draws, and 4 losses. 2 wins, 5 draws, and 1 loss. So honestly, how is it? Yeah, so Preston. Birmingham, huge win. Preston sit 10th. Birmingham sit 21st. So we said that. Birmingham have Swansea next, and Preston have Bristol City next. So some big games there. Moving on to the next game, which is Luton Town 1, Wigan Athletic 2. Colton Morris, a huge goal in the 39th minute. And 1-0 at half time, Luton looking strong. They haven't been the fiery Luton we all know since last season. Last season they were fantastic. This season haven't been anything near that. Tom Locker in the 80th minute, own goal, and then Asgard in the 88th minute. So coming from behind Wigan, that's a huge win there. Luton 15 shots to Wigan's 9, 4 on target to Wigan's 1. Wigan had 1 on target. 52% possession, so Wigan dominate on possession. Just literally like less than 30 more passes, more pass accuracy, less fouls. Yeah, equal yellows. One. Luton had 2 offsides to Wigan's 1. 9 corners to Wigan's 4. So honestly, a very even game. And I think Wigan just had it in the tank towards the end of the game. That puts Wigan in 15th with 10 points and puts Luton 18th with 9. And Luton 2 wins, 3 draws, 3 losses. With Wigan 2 wins, 4 draws, and 1 loss. They're actually the bottom of the newly promoted. But honestly, the newly promoted side have done brilliantly this season. So that's massive. Wigan have Blackburn next at home. Luton have Stoke away. So some decent games there. Moving on to what a game. Blackburn Rovers 2, Bristol City 3. An absolutely massive game. Blackburn, they look decent, but honestly, you go 2-0 down, and then you get a goal back, and then you can see 2 minutes later, 3-1, and then Ben Brereton Diaz in the 93rd minute to get a consolation. But honestly, Blackburn looked alright. Have been brilliant this season. Bristol, on the other hand, have been fantastic. Blackburn 11 shots to Bristol 16, 6 on target to Bristol's 5. More possession for Blackburn, more passes for Blackburn, more pass actually for Blackburn, less fouls, which is always good. Same amount of yellows, more offsides, and just less corners. So, very decent game, but you go 2-0 down, you get a goal back, and you're like, the momentum's on my side. The first attack since that goal, and you can see the goal. It's not nice. Ben Brereton Diaz may get consolation, but still, it's not enough. Bristol City though sit 4th, 14 points, 3 points off top in this Bristol City. Blackburn sits 7th, 4 wins, 4 losses. Bristol 4 wins, 2 draws, and 2 losses. So 2 points separate these two sides. Honestly, in the last 5, 4 wins for Blackburn and a draw for Blackburn. No, for Bristol. For Blackburn, 4 losses and a win. So you can say that Blackburn have not been brilliant. But yeah, Blackburn have Wigan next. Bristol have Preston next. Blackburn away, Bristol at home. So huge games. Moving on to the Sunday games, which was Reading 2, Stoke City 1. A huge win for Reading. Just to pull themselves back after, I think they lost. They lost in midweek, I think. Did they? Where's Reading? Yeah, 4-0 Sheffield United. So to come back off that, absolutely huge for Reading. Reading looked decent as well. It wasn't like a poor side to this game. Lucas João with 2 goals, 2nd and 57th minute, with Ben Wilmot in the 40th minute. It was 1-0, 1-1, 2-1. So Reading held on to get a huge 3 points at home. And a very even game. 11 shots to Stoke's 11, 3 on target to Stoke's 3. More possession to Stoke, more passes to Stoke, more pass accuracy, more fouls, less yellows for Stoke. Less red. Same amount of reds. Less offsides for Stoke and more corners. So honestly, Stoke, I think they were very unlucky. They were just not clinical. I think Reading just had that little bit more clinical edge. Plus, they did score a penalty. So, a big win for Reading. A huge win for Reading. That puts them 3rd on 15 points. 2 points off top. Sheffield United drop points. Reading win, top of the table. Oh, we've got Norwich as well there. So, Norwich and Sheffield United drop points. Reading win. Reading go top. And Stoke sits 20th. 2 wins, 2 draws, 4 losses, with Reading's 5 wins and 3 losses. So Reading haven't drawn all season. So Blackburn. So very interesting. Reading have who did Reading have? Literally didn't say. Oh, Watford away, and Stoke have Luton at home. So yeah, so interesting. Moving on to the next game, which is Huddersfield Town 0, Blackpool 1. Another loss for Huddersfield Town. And if it wasn't for our 3 games, if we had our 3 games in hand, we could have lost them. But let's say we don't lose them. Huddersfield will be last, and it's looking quite worrying for Huddersfield. Blackpool, Theo Campina, Binu in the 38th minute to win it. 1 goal in this. It was never going to be a classic. It was always going to be a nervy game, a close game, and in the end it was a close game. Huddersfield, they definitely would be happy with that, but it is what it is. They have to move on. Blackpool, very good. 15 shots to Huddersfield. 7 for Blackpool. 6 on target to Blackpool's 2. More possession for Huddersfield. More passes for Huddersfield. More pass accuracy. More fouls. And less yellows. Way more offsides and way more corners. So I think Huddersfield could be hard done by there. Way more corners and more shots on target. I think this has to be clinical, Huddersfield. Blackpool sit 11th with 11 points, so not bad. Huddersfield sit 23rd with 4, so not looking brilliant, but they do have a game in hand, Huddersfield, so I don't think they'll do much. It wouldn't do anything. Huddersfield have QPR next away, and Blackpool have Middlesbrough at home, so yeah, some interesting games. Moving on to Hull City 0, Sheffield United 2. Ollie McBurney and Sanderbush in the 75th minute and 20th minute to win it. Ollie McBurney again with another goal, and Ollie McBurney haters can now start to be quiet. A huge win for Sheffield United. To try and stay top, they had to win this game, and they did. Huge. But of Hull, been a bit average recently. There was 2-0 there, 3-1 over QPR. It did beat us 3-2, but we were bad form. And still, Sheffield United just come back off a 4-0 win over Reading, and now another 2-0 win over Hull. Sheffield United are looking like the real deal. One more shot, 2 more on target for Sheffield United, less possession, less passes for Sheffield United, less pass accuracy, way more fouls, more yellow cards, same amount of offsides and less corners. So honestly, Sheffield United weren't brilliant this game. They were just not brilliant. They just took their chances when they came, and that's the key. Sheffield United, an absolute huge win here. Away at Hull is never easy, and they stay top with 17 points, 5 wins, 2 draws and a loss. Of Hull 12th, 3 wins, 2 draws and 3 losses with 11 points. Sheffield United Rotherham at home next, so back home, and Hull have Cardiff away. So moving on to the last game, and that is Middlesbrough 1, Sunderland 0. A huge win for Middlesbrough. Riley McGree in the 25th minute, and that's all happened. Literally, this was the only goal, a massive goal for Middlesbrough. I think it's a long time coming. They've got 2 wins now. They took ages to get a win. They now finally they've got a win. Now they have 2 wins. Huge win for Middlesbrough. 6 points now, probably more than 6 points. 9 points if 2 wins and 3 draws. So absolutely huge. Middlesbrough, they look decent. Middlesbrough. Very unlucky with the results they've had with the losses and the draws, and it just wasn't Middlesbrough. Riley McGree, 15 shots to Sunderland's 8, 5 on target to Sunderland's 2. Less possession for Middlesbrough, less passes, less pass accuracy, less fouls, way more yellows, literally no offsides all game, and less corners. Sunderland sit 8th with 3 wins, 2 draws, 3 losses with 11 points. Middlesbrough will have 2 wins, 3 draws and 3 losses with 9 points. 17th, so very interesting with Middlesbrough having Blackpool away next, Sunderland having Millwall at home. So that wraps up the reaction. Should we get into the table? And I'll go through them. So 24th Coventry, 23rd Huddersfield, 22nd Cardiff, 21st Birmingham, 20th Stoke, 19th Swansea, 18th Luton, 17th Middlesbrough, 16th West Brom, 15th Wigan, 14th Millwall, 13th Rotherham, 12th Hull, 11th Blackpool, 10th Preston, 9th QPR, 8th Sunderland, 7th Blackburn Rovers, 6th Watford, 5th Burnley, 4th Bristol, 3rd Reading second, Norwich and Sheffield United in first. So the playoff teams are Watford, Burnley, Bristol and Reading. The automatics are Sheffield United and Norwich. Looking up at the stats of Stupinan with 7 goals, Sargent with 5, or Stewart with 5, Ben Brereton Diaz with 4, Chris Willock with 4. Let's go from there. You can see all the goal scorers there. Nadayi with 4 there, Rodriguez with 4, Brownhill with 4, Nikita Wells with 4, Mackie Wells with 4, Rich Wood with 4, and Tommy Conway with 4. Of assists, Wyman with 4, Daniel Bartasa with 4, Johansson with 4, Diangana with 3, Chair with 3, Clark with 3, Semo with 3, Norwood with 3, Stewart with 3, Giles with 3, Hedges with 3, Malone with 3, and Thomas with 3. So yeah, that's it. That's our game week 8 reaction. Moving on to game week 9, it's going to be interesting. But yeah, that wraps up the video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. See you guys in the next one.